So here's how to graph a quadratic and solve. First, you need to make sure that 0 is on one side of the equation. And when you have 0 on one side of the equation, you can type in the other side. So we're going to type in x squared minus 11x plus 24. X squared minus 11x plus 24. And then we're going to hit graph. Now your calculator might be zoomed to something you don't want. So remember to zoom 6 for you to get the negative 10 to 10 on the x and the y axes. We should have something like this. Now, whenever we're solving quadratics, we're looking for the solutions, we're looking for the roots, we're looking for the x-intercepts, and the other synonym is zeros. So we're looking for these two x-intercepts, these 2 points, which are the solutions, which are the x-intercepts, which are the roots, which are the zeros. So we're going to press second, trace. Second, trace. Trace is at the top. You're going to get this screen. This just tells you a value anywhere that's kind of useless. We're going to do number 2, zeros. Remember, our min and our max tell us our vertex. So number 2, we're going to choose that. You can either press 2 or you can scroll down to 0 and hit enter. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Your calculator can't do what you can do. Your calculator has to take guesses. So right now it's asking you a question. It's asking you for the left bound. Basically it's asking you to pick an x-intercept and tell it how far left it should look to find that x-intercept. So I don't even see my cursor, by the way. It's at 0.24. It's way up here. So I'm going to have to scroll to the right to see my cursor. And now honestly, if I stop here, that's pretty much like, I don't really want my calculator to look more left than this. Because if it looks any more left than this, it might not find my x-intercept. So I'm going to hit enter. And then it's asking me to find the right bound. So again, this is the x-intercept I want to find right now. So I'm going to just tell it how far right to look. So I'm going to scroll, pressing the right arrow, a little bit to the right of where I think the x-intercept is, a little bit to the right, and I'm going to hit enter. So right now I'm telling it, don't look left of here and don't look right of here, which kind of makes sense, like my x-intercept's somewhere in between my fingers. And now it's asking me to take a guess. So I'm going to take a guess before it takes a guess. So I'm going to scroll back left to where I think the x-intercept is. Now this is old graphics, so you might not be accurate. And I'm going to take a guess, and it's going to tell me 3, 0. And you're going to write down, in parentheses, 3, 0, because if we're solving by graphing, we're writing it down as a coordinate. But that's just one. We have to go do the other. So we press second, trace again, and we choose number 2. Now I'm going to try to tell the calculator to find this x-intercept, because I already found this one at 3, 0. This x-intercept. So it's going to ask me how far left to look. I don't want it to look all the way over here, because it might get confused. So I'm going to tell it to look no farther left than here. Don't look any more left than my hand. And now it's asking me how far right to look. So I'm going to tell it to not look any far right than here. So right now it's going to look in between my fingers. No more left than my thumb, no more right than my index finger. And now it wants me to take a guess before it takes a guess. So I'm going to try to be accurate and hit enter. And it's going to guess 8, 0. And we're going to write that down. Okay, so you have to do it twice for most of your parabolas, but you follow the same steps over and over again. Second, trace, go a little bit to the left and hit enter, scroll a little bit to the right and hit enter, and then take a guess and hit enter. Okay?